Austin, Texas is one of the most moved to cities in the entire United States in the past few years. A lot of those people are people from California. As someone who used to travel to Bay Area for work and have lived here in Austin for more than a decade, I'm gonna explain the top 5 reasons why Californians regret their move to Austin, Texas. And be sure to stick around for reason number 4 because that one could make or break the future of Austin, Texas as a city, as the most important city in Texas. Before we get started, my name is Zhang. I am a real estate agent here in Austin, Texas. If you're looking to buy or sell a home here in Austin, feel free to reach out to me using the number right here and subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate your help. And now let's talk about reason number 1. The first reason the Californians regret their move to Austin is because of the cost of living. There used to be a belief that Texas is so cheap. Anything you can buy in California, you can buy it twice as big. You can buy a big house for around $200,000. You can buy a mansion for around $300,000. Now, that might have been true 10 years ago when I first got here to Austin, but that has not been the case ever since the pandemic. Because of a high influx of local population here in Austin, with job growth rate being number 1 and number 2 in the entire United States for the past few years, Austin is one of the most sought after cities in the entire state of Texas. And with high demand and record low inventory back in 2021 and 2022, Austin home prices skyrocketed, and that increased the cost of living of the area tremendously. And that really deviates from what the people used to believe in, which is that Austin is one of the most affordable cities in the entire United States. A personal experience is that I used to go to this Vietnamese restaurant, and one bowl of pho cost around $7.25. And last time when I went just a couple weeks ago, a bowl of pho cost about $13. That cost of living change is real and is here to stay. And that is one of the main reasons Californians regret their move here to Austin. But there is one area that Austin or Texas in general is doing pretty well, and that is the oil prices. The gas prices here in Austin average $3.22 per gallon, while in California, the average is above $5 per gallon. And now let's talk about point number 2 of why Californians regret their move to Austin, and that is the unbearable heat. I think a lot of people, when they hear about Texas, they know it's hot, but they really haven't experienced that heat in person unless they've been here the entire month of summer and maybe a little bit before summer, the late springtime and the early fall time as well. And Austin as a city this past year in 2023 created a brand new city record of having 45 consecutive days of weather above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And a lot of Californians are not prepared for that. The way I would describe what that heat feels like is, imagine you're baking cookies in your oven. And after half an hour to an hour, you open the oven, the heat wave hits you on the face. And that basically is how it feels when you get into your car every single summer. And I hate to imagine what it would be like if you drove a black car, because all the heat gets absorbed in your car, and when you open your car, you probably can't touch anything in the car until it's cooled down quite a bit. And here is a chart showing you the average temperature between Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Austin, Texas. So if you're planning to move to Austin, be sure you're mentally prepared about the Austin, Texas heat. Reason number 3 of why Californians regret their move to Austin is because of the political climate. I know politics is a hot topic, but I try to be transparent on this channel about what I think and what I see. California is a very liberal state. It is the number 1 blue state in the entire United States, while Texas is a red state. It is perhaps the most iconic conservative state in the entire United States. So when you have people from California move to Austin, Texas, they could and they probably will experience a political value shock. Texas is very pro-business. It has very low taxations for both individual income and corporate income. Texas is really great at attracting big businesses by giving them tax incentives. In exchange, a lot of the benefits that Californian citizens experience, that Californian residents experience, like great healthcare, all those benefits don't really exist here in Austin, here in Texas. California is ranked number 7 on its healthcare to its residents, while Texas is only ranked number 34. The policy decisions between the two states do affect its citizens and its residents. That is definitely something that you need to think about before moving here to Austin, Texas. But at the same time, Austin is one of the most liberal cities in Texas compared to the rest of the state. So the people here might feel very conflicted. Some of them will find the conservative policy by the entire state suffocating, and some of them might find the liberal leaning culture of Austin suffocating to them. So this is a very interesting topic, but that also has big impact to the next point, which is the most important point that I think about the future of Austin. But before that, I do want to reiterate, I am a real estate agent here in Austin, Texas. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, you can reach out to me using this number right here. Call me or text me. And if you enjoy content like this, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And now let's talk to the most important point, number 4, why Californians regret moving to Austin and why that's so important to the future of this city. And that is the infrastructure, the urban development, the city development as a city here in Austin. A lot of Californians, when they move away from California, because it has bad traffic, it has bad crimes, you don't feel safe walking on the streets. You got people using drugs, taking dump in the middle of the street in San Francisco. Now, I do think some of them is overblown by the media, but the fact is there is an app tracking where the poops are on the street. You can't argue with that. So there are some facts in that statement that California is a shithole. So when they move to a city like Austin, they probably have a higher expectation. But due to the higher cost of living and due to the huge influx of populations this past few years, the cracks of the city is starting to show that Austin is not ready, not as prepared as it can be for a huge population. We are seeing a lot more homeless people compared to 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago when I first got here to Austin, I didn't see many. I might have saw some on the drag when I'm walking down the street. I'll just give them a couple of dollars and they buy something nice for themselves. But now there are a lot more homeless, a lot of panhandling on the street. At the same time, as I previously mentioned, due to the liberal nature of Austinites, there are talks about defunding the police and making sure that the police department don't have the resources they need to do their jobs. So what does that create? That might create a scenario where Austin becomes more and more like California, where there are a lot more crimes, there are people pooping everywhere, and it just doesn't look like a clean city, like a safe city, and just not a happy living experience for the residents here. And at the same time, there are things that impact the day-to-day life of people living here, and that is the traffic. I-35, which is one of the major highways here in Austin, wasn't ready for a huge amount of traffic on the road, especially during rush hours. Now, they have plans to expand it into multiple lanes, but this is going to be a decade-long project that has no end in sight. I personally don't know where this will lead to, but I do believe that before we get better, traffic is going to get a lot worse. And we don't even know whether it's gonna work out as we planned. And I personally am a little worried about what is going on here in the city. And that is one major reason that I think that if we don't take care of this, Austin will have a very hard time to become the most important city here in Texas. And now let's get to the last point number 5 of why Californians regret their move here to Austin, and that is the culture. The culture of Austin is very, very diverse. But right now, what I foresee, what I feel is that the Austin culture is so undefined due to such huge influx of people from California, from New York, from the East Coast, from everywhere else, where everybody is rushed into this little city and nobody knows what is going on. I personally know and believe that a city's culture is defined by its people. But when you have people from everywhere all come at the same time, its culture is undefined. And so you don't have a feeling of settlement. You don't have a feeling that you can settle down in this area because you're not making friends in the right places. You're not going through the right experience with the right people. And that makes you feel lonely and you have a bad experience living here. And that is what culture is all about. A lot of Californians, when they move to Austin, they all live in the same area. They sometimes even live in the same neighborhood. So when they walk out, they become the neighbors again. They say, oh, it's like we just changed the location, but we still hang out with the same people. And that isn't great. When you move to a new city, you expect a new experience. How can you grow as a person? How can you grow if you stay the same with the same people? And those are the top 5 reasons Californians regret their move to Austin, Texas. And if you want to know my experience of living in Austin for over a decade, you can check out this next video.